In a penalty shootout where nobody wanted to score, Forge does go through. Andy, Jordan, Garrett with you. In fact, this is going to be the third straight year in the Canadian Championship that Forge and CF Montreal will meet. Will this be the year that Forge slays the Dragon? If you remember, in 2021, they went to penalty kicks. The goalkeepers got involved. Yeah. Montreal beat them 8-7. Last year, Montreal took care of Forge quite easily. 3-0 was the final there. But here we go. Now we know it'll be CF Montreal Forge once again tomorrow. We'll bring you that other doubleheader to find out who will make up that other semi-final. So let's take you now a couple highlights here when it comes to Forge, because this was a game that was 0-0 almost to the very end. And then it ended up being, I don't know how this goal went in. We have to look at Kyle Becker's goal. This angle to me is insane.
Only Kyle knows.
Get him on the line. How do you score this goal?
Like, okay, for this incident, Kyle, he does this so much, but this time it paid off a reward, or just running behind, just to free up space. But he ends up getting the better of Ouimet here, and then no one's in the box and just curls that near post. Obviously, Sean Melvin is going to want that back, because that's just an area you can't get beat as a keeper. But look, he gives the eyes and knows he's going to go near post and just wraps his foot around it.
As much as I like the finish, Melvin needs to stay big. It's those first two touches. The chest to get past the defender, then the one touch to bring it inside. It was an excellent goal, worthy of a match winner. Forge were in complete control, and then one chance and a penalty fall into Atletico Ottawa late.
Becker's so, sorry, quickly. Becker is so clever because he knows once you get into the box, you can't get touched. So he just kind of does enough with the header, gets in front of Ouimet and says, yo, do something to me at this point. Lines it up and curls it top corner.
But here's the thing. Atletico Ottawa does tie it up. They get a penalty kick. We love to argue about this behind the scenes, too, because I feel for every player, I would say 99% of the time when they get called for a handball, because I don't know what you're supposed to do with your hands.
Well, you didn't see it right before, but Forge were trying to bring the ball out of the back. Jensen played it to Samuel, and Atletico Ottawa's high press. Give them a lot of credit for forcing Forge into that vulnerable position. Sam Salter, I think this ball was going high and wide, but those hands are up.
But it's going to his face. What are you supposed to do?
Well, not put your hands in front of your face.
He takes that straight in the nose, Petrillo.
And Bassett missed a penalty in the shootout, went off the post, but he's been money on penalties overall in Canadian Premier League play, now here in the Canadian Championship. So that right there was a massive sigh of relief for the city of Hamilton. Like, Forge want to compete on all fronts this year. If they had lost at home to a team that's struggling right now in Atletico Ottawa, when Ottawa's dealing with injuries, Forge isn't, that would have been a massive letdown for Forge. Now they get a chance at Montreal. You said it. Montreal's not going to like going to Tim Hortons Field for that next round. That's where we did see the penalty shootout, and they're going to be thinking revenge because they came out flat as can be, getting absolutely demolished 3-0 last year. I think that they have a statement to make. No easy feat, because this CF Montreal team is getting better as the games roll on.
All right, let's remind you how things went down between Toronto FC and CF Montreal. Montreal jumped out to the 2-0 lead in this one. Breakdowns by Toronto FC, Jordo, but at the same time, give Montreal credit for taking advantage of those breakdowns.
Yeah, you got to exploit it. We also talked about it in pregame as well with CF Montreal, what they need to do to kind of be the better team, and they executed this evening. With the counter, but specifically, Wheels, you were just talking about playing the ball wide. And I thought they did that specifically well on the second goal. But look, if we're going to talk about CFC, the thing that sticks out for me tonight is just desire. And you see in this play, Wheels, right? Just CF Montreal bombing forward. Just gambling, saying, hey, play a ball into space, I'll get there. And TFC kind of waiting and hoping and watching. And that's not how you win football games.
Yeah, I think that Rhea looked up and he's like, wait a second, there's only Colby Franklin at the back? That's it? Kyoto is paced for days, well worked. CF Montreal simply didn't give up on the play. They wanted it more. Zachary Brault-Guillard with the finish. A lot of spectators. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, Cervania, both slow getting back. And Montreal simply punished Toronto FC. Just look at the tape in recent games. Toronto FC are wide open. They're so disorganized on the counterattack. That plays into CF Montreal's strengths. They're willing to give up the ball all day. On here, I mean, this is simple. Like, just lack of execution by TFC in the attacking third. And then they're off to the races. Nothing simple, nothing special about it. Just one team that wants it more.
We could talk about tactics all day long and the things you want to tweak, but if players don't want to move and run and sprint into positions and make themselves available to make a play, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at TFC tonight. No disrespect to Montreal. I think that they deserved it. But TFC, in terms of taking care of moments and running the extra mile, they didn't do that.
It's been a few times now in a couple games where Sean Johnson has come up with a brilliant save, but the rebound is right there. Nobody wants to jump on it from his own team. The opposition gets it. Off you go. Let's take a look at that second goal then that put Montreal up 2-0.
I mean, this is even worse. It comes off a throw-in for Toronto FC. Insigne, lazy square ball. Bernardowski takes a hike. This ball stays in play. Look at TFC. No urgency to get to it. No urgency for CF Montreal. Then all of a sudden they're like, okay, Lapalatin's like, okay, you're going to give me this space? Okay, Choiniere. And this is a fantastic ball by Mathieu Choiniere. Great run by Offor. An outstanding finish. But the lack of urgency. Like, come on. There's no rotation. Kay's not willing to come over to help Laryea. He's put on an island. These are massive errors by Toronto FC, gifting this opportunity. Good ball, great finish by CF Montreal.
As a player, you're taught about zones. Okay, in the midfield, I can be off you like this. Yeah. That's fine. You're 50 yards from the goal. When you're in shooting range, that is the time to get close, get into someone's face, smell what they had for dinner. Yes, Petrillo, smell it. Yeah. If it's bacon, you gotta smell it. Get close. For me, I'm watching this game, I'm like, are they sitting on a chair with us?
And beyond that, like, if you're a teammate, like, you either take the responsibility and close down that player and get uptight with them, or you tell your teammate, hey, get over, rotate. I mean, no Hedges, no O'Neill. I'm not sure Rosted's a player. He's out now. There's a center back who's in his first start for Toronto FC because they traded away Lucas McNaughton. It's just, you have to feel that urgency in those moments. And right there, those two goals, to me, self-inflicted wounds by Toronto FC.
And when I'm looking at this squad, it's just about having players that can problem solve. Like you said, those are leaders. But looking at situations before they happen and be like, hey, you need to be here. And I didn't see that today.
It's okay you're sitting next to me because I know you had chocolate-covered pretzels for dinner.
You let my secrets out?
Yeah, I'm letting it out. That's okay. That is a good smell. He had a fantastic game here. Let's hear from Mathieu Choiniere, who caught up with our Oliver Platt.
Mathieu, how much did you enjoy that one?
A lot. It's good. It's always good to win against our rivals. So in their hometown,
for a second, please?
It's great.
How do you explain what's happened over the past few weeks? Because it was a really tough start to the season. Now 5 wins in a row. You guys seem to be flying.
Yeah, we're working well, and we feel it on the pitch. We're going well. The group has good vibes, and we understand each other on the pitch.
Was it a case of kind of adapting to a new coach that came in and maybe asked some different things of you as well?
Yes, of course. We needed time to adapt, and now we're feeling it.
Your versatility has been a real asset to this team, but are you enjoying that central midfield role that you seem to be comfortable in?
Yeah, I really enjoy this position. I played there when I was young, and that's, I feel, the position that I enjoy the most.
Forge, I believe, are about to go to a penalty shootout. Is that the matchup you're hoping for against your brother?
Of course. I still want to play against him. We played last year, and hopefully we're going to play against them this year.
Thank you very much. Well done tonight.
Third straight year, as we mentioned, Forge Montreal. Are bigger things, do you think, on the horizon for Choiniere?
He said it. He's a natural center midfield player. He's been playing on the outside. For me, no contest. He's playing against the Canadian men's national team player. Completely outplayed him on the night. On vastly superior form, both in the Canadian Championship and in MLS. Choiniere should be on John Herdman's radar. He's playing that good right now. He's playing with Camacho in the midfield, and those two absolutely ran the show. 2 versus 3, no contest. Well done to Choiniere.
Yeah, you both really liked his game, that's for sure, and why not assisting on that second goal. 2-1 the final here for CF Montreal over Toronto FC. Toronto getting one back in that first half, courtesy of Lorenzo Insigne, but then they just couldn't carry that momentum over into the second half. Montreal, not really, I mean, from a possession standpoint, controlling things, but you can just see they had more shots, their shots as well, leading to 2 goals, and that's all she wrote as they move on to the semifinal. Let's hear now from the head coach of Toronto FC, Bob Bradley.
Yeah, the score says that. Decent enough start, then we lose these 2 goals. First one starts where it's our free kick. I need to see the replay, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, the block or the bullet, whatever you want to call it, steps up, and as Fetty shoots, I think he's 5 yards from the shooter. So that seemed extreme. And then when the ball turned over, some of our reactions, and then in the final part of it, a little bit of bad luck between Sean and Sigurd. I think the next one, Lorenzo plays to Richie, and Richie was dribbling inside, and there's some contact, and then he goes down, and then obviously they take advantage. Between Aime and Sigurd, I didn't think we defended the crosswall, so now we put ourselves in a hole, which you've said. I thought we start to respond in the first half. We get a good goal. And then, we push hard in the second half. And then we're back to where still in certain moments, quality of crosses, touches at the end, that kind of stuff, still not enough to make more big chances. Good effort, though, from a lot of guys to push hard in the second.
Right there, talking about effort, that seems to be what comes to question a lot, or is being questioned a lot. We know this is a team dealing with a lot of injuries. We know this is a team right now whose depth is being tested, Wheels. But when it comes to effort, do you believe this is a team that can turn it around?
Well, it's effort, it's focus. There's no balance in the squad for me. I still don't know what their identity is supposed to be. And Bob Bradley's record as manager of Toronto FC, 14 wins, 13 draws, 23 losses here tonight through 50 games. TFC spends more money than anyone in the league. They have 2 former Italian national team players. God, they won the Euros a couple of years ago, and they look a million miles off it right now. I'm not sure where they go next. Another center back hurt. They have 1 senior center back, and he's started 1 game for Toronto FC. He's a kid. He's a project. So where do they go next? Play Montreal in Montreal on Saturday. They made these trades. Sapong. They signed Diamande. They bring in Johnson, Hedges, big money free agents. They're doing so to win right now. A team that's still developing, going through a rebuild of their own, look far ahead of Toronto FC and CF Montreal right now. They sold more players. That's the equivalent to what they actually pay Bernardeschi and Insigne.
And quickly, I want to give something here to Montreal right now because they're turning things around. That's now 5 games that they've won in all competition. Is this a team that's turned it around for you?
Yeah, and just stick together. I think that's what you can see. Forget tactics. They believe in each other and they're working for each other, and you can always start there.
Losada, good manager.
Happy birthday, Hernan Losada. He dropped to his knees. I thought we were going to get the Vanni Sartini barrel roll, but that's...
Went down.
They saved that for the final. You got to do the barrel roll with the shirt off. We'll see if any coach who ends up winning this year does it. But CF Montreal victorious on the night. Forge FC victorious on the night. They'll meet in the semi-finals of the Canadian Championship. We'll have another doubleheader for you tomorrow. That's right, Vancouver, the reigning champs, enter the conversation. Let's talk tomorrow, Canada. See you then.